feminists, what do you think is going to happen when they do the Olympics? How's that going to play out next? I don't know, is it going to be next year? But also, how are they going to televise it? And are there going to be loads of men who say they're women winning everything?
We don't know yet, because what happens is the countries submit their, the way it goes is you do your national championships, and then the countries have to basically nominate their team members to the IOC. And then those teams are only announced, let's say maybe a month, maybe in the last 3 weeks, for sure who's going. I mean, sometimes you might know way longer than that, but a lot of athletes, those lists don't show up until they go into the country, right? Until they actually show up and they're going to say, this is our final list of athletes. And then because of their names, you don't know really. Some of these cases could be some person from Bangladesh. I'm not trying to pick on Bangladesh, but if there could be some person, as I think it was Anna Paula said, that they're going to use it as an excuse. It's so hard to win medals. So I think a lot of nations are going to rush in to try to win their medals while this is still a rule. And I always joke that it's only going to work for the first generation. And then all the athletes in the women's final will be males. So all of these trans athletes will be competing with men anyway. So yeah, go ahead.
Go on, Anna.
Just on about what Linda just mentioned, we need to also remember that about the swimming supersuits, that whoever had the swimmer supersuits, they broke a lot of records. Now their names are on the chart of the best ever. And now the swimming supersuits are banned, and nobody can beat those records, can't beat those numbers. So I think this is what's going to happen if we open this door. Biological man will break women's records. They're gonna get in history with the records, with the most amazing athletes, with gold medals. And then sometime from now, people are gonna realize that was a huge mistake. But then what? How do we look back to those women and say, oh, I'm sorry, you were out of the national team, even though you were medically watched for 10, 15 years, and the biological male got your spot in the national team and won the medal. So this is so crucial that we continue to speak up, that we continue to provide good material, resourceful material for women to go back to their communities and see, look, this is what science says. Because I've witnessed myself 3 years talking about this. The first year that I started to talk about this, I was called every possible bad name that you can imagine. But now, 3 years into this conversation, with good arguments, with elegance, with being respectful, they give up because you can't beat science. So we need to continue to speak up and encourage women to continue to speak up, because once those records are broken, it's over. It's going to be way too late, just like the swimming supersuit.
We know that several that will be able to qualify, and I know one is too many. I don't think that the Olympics tends to change their policies before this upcoming games in Tokyo, but I do know that we will put a lot of pressure on them to change these policies, and we're going to need everyone's help in that process.
I mean, with the handball, for instance, with Hannah Moutsey, he was playing, then the women on the team said they didn't want him on the team anymore. But now that they've got these transgender policies, they've issued an apology and invited him to be on their diversity and inclusion board. So I think as Pride in Sports works their way through all these sporting codes, we're just going to see so much more of it, unfortunately. And yeah, I mean, I look at the list of sports and there's dozens of them there. So it's inevitable that it will happen here as well.
In rowing, we don't have the transgender, so I don't know by my modality. But they're not talking about that, so not much. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to appear just close to the Olympics. I think I don't know.